Hello again, everyone. Welcome to Washington Gun Law TV. I am Washington Gun Law President William Kirk. Thanks for joining us. It is always awesome to be able to shoot a video during daylight hours. This time of the year here in Seattle, most of our sunshine does come in the liquid form. I get to talk about Tennessee. Again, a state that I have not gotten to talk about a whole lot because, well, Tennessee does a pretty good job of letting their citizens live like Americans. But here's why I'm talking about Tennessee. You see, I got kind of suckered in on some clickbait. Yeah, I went to a website. I'm going to tell you about them in a minute. And they had this article and had a very juicy headline. And I was like, oh my God, not the state of Tennessee. You got to be kidding me. And I clicked on the article. And if you read the article, you would think that the state of Tennessee was in real trouble if you so happen to, respect an individual's inalienable rights. But then all you got to do is scratch just a little bit under the surface and you kind of realize, like, Tennessee, take a deep breath. You guys are just fine. So today, let's clarify. Let's finish the story. Let's add more context and let's talk about, is Tennessee really going to disarm its citizens? Okay, why am I talking about the state of Tennessee, a state which notoriously allows its citizens to live free like our founding fathers intended? Well, I'm going to tell you why. I went to a website. The website is The Truth About Guns. Now, caveat. I am not ripping on The Truth About Guns because the reason I went to that website is I go to that website every single day, along with Ammo Land and The Reload and Bearing Arms, because I find all four of them to be incredibly responsible, comprehensive, and reliable pieces of journalistic information. I am there. I find this article right here. I'm like, oh my gosh, there seems to be a rash of this going on. And we have done, as you know, way too many videos in the last couple weeks talking about state after state after state, which is hell-bent on civilian disarmament. And I got to thinking, like, dang, this is the state of Tennessee. What is the likelihood that any of this stuff is going to happen? And had The Truth About Guns just added a little bit more truth to their story? And again, everything that they wrote in that story was absolutely true. I'm going to verify all of it for you here today. But there was one extra paragraph that probably should have been added. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to start there and we'll work our way backwards. So if you guys really don't want to geek out about everything that might or might not happen in Tennessee, here's the punchline. Currently in the Tennessee Senate, there are 27 Republicans and 6 Democrats. And in the Tennessee House of Representatives, there is currently 75 Republicans and 24 Democrats. What else do you need to know about the likelihood of any of these pieces of legislation ever seeing the light of day? And then, if you scratch a little bit more under the surface and you start looking at all the House bills, and many of the House bills that were mentioned in that article also have companion Senate bills, which were not mentioned in that article, you will see that all of the following is true. House Bill 2329 has a Senate companion bill of 2449. The Senate companion bill is sponsored by Senator Ramesh Akbari, a name you will hear over and over. And yes, this bill would in fact repeal constitutional carry in Tennessee. House Bill 1593, sponsored by Representative Justin Pearson, another name that you will hear quite frequently, would in fact require universal background checks in the state of Tennessee for all firearms transactions. House Bill 1935, with a Senate companion bill of 2290, defines new weapons of war and then, of course, bans them. That is sponsored by Representative Hakeem. House Bill 1587, again sponsored by Representative Pearson, with a companion bill of Senate Bill 2952, sponsored by Senator Akbari, bans the manufacturing of semi-automatic rifles in the state of Tennessee. House Bill 1589, again sponsored by Representative Pearson, has a companion bill of Senate Bill 2954, sponsored by Senator Akbari, which would implement a 10-round magazine limit if passed into law in the state of Tennessee. House Bill 1952, sponsored by Representative Pearson, with a companion bill of Senate Bill 2957, sponsored by Senator Akbari, would make it a crime if you don't report a lost or stolen firearm within 24 hours. House Bill 1595, sponsored by Representative Pearson, has a Senate companion bill of 2960, sponsored by Senator Akbari, which would create a new committee to study gun violence, especially as it relates to the impact on minority communities. And finally, House Bill 2336, sponsored by, guess who, Representative Pearson, with a companion bill in the Senate of 2456, sponsored by, that's right, you guessed it, Senator Akbari, bans all 80% lowers and personally made firearms. So the truth about what's going on in Tennessee is, yes, there is a lot of radical, crazy gun control legislation currently being pushed in both the House and the Senate. However, when we scratch ever so slightly under the surface, we will see that literally every single House bill and every single Senate bill are actually sponsored by one of two representatives. And then when we just take a look at the math, that in the Senate there's 27 Republicans and 6 Democrats, and in the House there's 75 Republicans and 24 Democrats, shows you that the likelihood of any one of these bills making it to the governor's desk is about the same chances as the state of California passing constitutional carry. About the same chances as the state of Illinois Attorney General deciding, you know what, our assault weapon ban is likely unconstitutional and we're going to strike it down. About the same chances as President Joe Biden remembering anything. So if you really want to understand what are the chances of any one of these bills actually becoming law, all you need to do is go outside on a clear night and start throwing rocks at the moon, because you'll have about an equal chance of any of these bills ever making it to the governor's desk and actually being signed into legislation. Listen, we'll go ahead and we'll link up the story from The Truth About Guns down below. It is a fantastic publication. This is not a hit piece. I encourage all of you actually to check them out. They got some great writers and they got a lot of great material on there every single day. If you got any other questions about this or anything else related to what's left of our Second Amendment rights, you guys should know how to get a hold of Washington gun law by now. If you don't, that's okay. That information is also down there in the description box. And then finally, let's everyone remember that part of being the lawful and responsible gun owner, like we talk about all the time here, is to know what the law is in every situation, how it applies to you in any instance that you may find yourself. Until next time, thanks for watching. Stay safe.